Have you ever wondered if animals remember acts of kindness? Imagine risking your life to save a wild predator, only for that same animal to one day return the favor. Would you believe in the unspoken bond between humans and wildlife? Let us know in the comments below what you think about this incredible connection. And if you've ever had a special moment with an animal, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Across the vast African savanna, the scorching sun beat down on the cracked earth, creating a landscape both majestic and unforgiving. The dry wind carried waves of heat through the golden grass, adding to the stifling atmosphere. In the distance, the lonely calls of birds echoed through the wild terrain, a land filled with both beauty and peril. Life thrived here, but survival was a daily struggle. Jackson, an experienced ranger, drove his old pickup truck along the dusty trail. His keen eyes scanned the surroundings, always alert for any dangers that might arise in this unpredictable wilderness. Every day brought new challenges: poachers, injured animals, and the ever-present task of protecting the delicate balance of nature. Today, however, he had received an urgent report from a group of tourists. A leopard had been spotted trapped inside an abandoned metal pipe near the reserve. The thought unsettled him. Leopards were elusive creatures, built for speed and agility. For one to get trapped meant it was in real distress. When Jackson arrived at the scene, he quickly realized that the situation was worse than he had anticipated. A female leopard, likely around 3 years old, was struggling inside a large steel pipe left behind from an unfinished construction project. Her head and front legs protruded from the opening, but the rest of her body was wedged tightly inside. Her frantic golden eyes darted around, and each desperate attempt to free herself was met with painful roars, evidence of her exhaustion and distress. The skin along her belly and back was scraped raw, streaked with blood against the cold steel. Jackson stepped out of his vehicle, keeping a safe distance to assess the situation. Alongside the desperate cries of the trapped leopard, he heard another sound, a deep, rumbling growl from the distance. Not far away, a large male leopard stood watching, his sleek golden coat shimmering under the sun. His eyes glowed with warning. Jackson understood immediately. This was likely her mate, and he was not pleased with the presence of humans. Time was running out. If the female was not freed soon, her injuries could become fatal, or she might succumb to exhaustion. But any rash movement could provoke the male into attacking. Jackson decided to call for backup. While waiting for his team, he cautiously approached the trapped leopard, carefully observing her reaction. Her wild eyes flickered with pain and fear, but there was no sign of aggression toward him. Apart from evaluating the female leopard's condition, Jackson also analyzed the environment. The scattered paw prints in the dirt indicated that the male had been pacing the area for some time, watching over his mate but unable to help. This realization only heightened the tension of the moment. He admired the male's dedication. He could have left her behind, but had stayed close, a silent guardian. The ranger glanced at the sky. The sun was lowering in the horizon, casting long shadows over the land. Nightfall would bring added dangers, not just from the male leopard, but from opportunistic predators that could take advantage of the wounded feline. Hyenas, lions, and even scavenging jackals lurked in the darkness, always searching for an easy meal. When the rescue team arrived, they brought the necessary equipment: metal-cutting saws, crowbars, and a tranquilizer gun in case the male became aggressive. Jackson and his team devised a careful plan. First, they would distract the male leopard using recorded sounds of another leopard's growls to divert his attention. Meanwhile, they would move in to free the female. One of the rangers activated a speaker, playing the recorded growls. The male immediately reacted, growling back in warning and turning his attention toward the perceived threat. This gave Jackson and his team a brief window of opportunity. Moving quickly but cautiously, they placed a thick cloth over the female's head to help calm her and began cutting through the pipe. The sound of the cutting saw shrieked through the hot air. The male leopard, sensing something was wrong, turned back toward the rescue team, his muscles tensing. He crouched low, growling in warning. One of the rangers raised the tranquilizer gun, but Jackson motioned for him to wait. A single misstep could send the situation spiraling out of control, further distressing the female. Cutting through the metal was no easy task. Every spark and vibration made the trapped leopard flinch, her breathing ragged with fear. Sweat trickled down Jackson's forehead as he maneuvered the saw carefully, making precise cuts to avoid further injury to the animal. The team worked with precision, pausing at times to reassess their progress. The scent of blood was strong, and Jackson knew it was only a matter of time before the male lost his patience. The tension in the air was suffocating. Every second counted. As the male leopard crept closer, the team braced for the worst. Another ranger held a long pole, ready to fend him off if necessary. Jackson felt his pulse racing, but kept his focus. He had faced many dangerous situations before, but this was different. The male wasn't just a territorial predator. He was a guardian protecting his injured mate. The last segment of metal finally gave way with a metallic snap. The female leopard let out a pained cry, but immediately scrambled backward, pulling herself free from the pipe. She stumbled slightly, her body weakened from the ordeal, but her eyes remained sharp and alert. Jackson and his team stepped back, knowing that the real test was about to begin. The moment she was free, the male leopard roared and charged forward. The rescue team tensed, prepared to intervene, but the male rushed past them, ignoring the humans entirely. He went straight to the female, nudging her side with his nose, checking her over. A deep, rumbling sound came from his throat. Not aggression, but concern. The female, though weak, responded by rubbing her head against his, their bodies moving in silent communication. It was a breathtaking moment, one that revealed the powerful bonds of the wild. Jackson exhaled slowly. The danger wasn't over, but they had done their part. The team remained still, waiting for the leopards to make their next move. After several moments, the male helped support the female, guiding her toward the thick brush. She walked with a limp, but she followed, trusting in the presence of her mate. Months later, Jackson was patrolling a remote part of the reserve when he found himself in a dangerous situation. While tracking an injured antelope, he inadvertently wandered too close to a pride of lions. Before he could react, one of the lions, a young but aggressive male, charged at him. Jackson reached for his rifle, but he knew he wouldn't have time to aim before the lion was upon him. A blur of golden movement streaked past him. From the tall grass, the male leopard he had once rescued lunged at the attacking lion, snarling with ferocity. The lion hesitated for a moment before retreating, unwilling to engage in a fight with the agile predator. The leopard turned toward Jackson, his piercing eyes meeting the rangers for a long moment before he disappeared into the wilderness once again. Jackson let out a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. The leopard had remembered him. It was a silent gesture of gratitude, proof that even in the wild, some bonds were never forgotten. The story conveys a powerful message about compassion, respect, and the deep connection between humans and wildlife. Through Jackson's courageous act of rescuing the trapped leopard, it highlights the importance of protecting nature and coexisting with the wild. The male leopard's protective nature and the female's eventual recovery symbolize resilience and the bonds that exist within the animal kingdom. When the rescued leopard later repays Jackson, the story reinforces the idea that kindness, even in the wild, is never forgotten. Ultimately, it reminds us that every act of compassion can leave a lasting impact, fostering harmony between humans and nature. If you enjoy our stories, please like, share, and subscribe. We bring you thrilling wildlife rescues, heartwarming human-animal connections, and captivating stories. Your support helps us continue to share these incredible stories.